Hello, welcome to Timeless Conversations, a channel where we talk about life and adulting
The ups, the downs,
and everything in between.
My name is Aisha.
Robina.
And I'm Sharon. So today we're going to talk about something we always talk about in our intro, the adulting bit. Finally, we get to talk about this adulting that we keep talking about, the ups and downs, everything in between. So today we're going to be giving you a gist of some of that and, talking about what does it really mean to adult. Do we know what adulting is anyway? Or do we even know that we are adulting?
Or you just grow
Some
up.
of us might be adulting and we don't realize that we have reached adulting yet.
True.
So in today's episode, that's what we want to talk about. So ladies, let's start by first of all hearing from each of us. What is your understanding of adulting? Like when someone tells you, hey, adulting is taking me, what do you understand by that?
Adulting to me is synonymous to responsibility. And that doesn't specifically start at a certain age. Sometimes you get to adult as soon as 7, 8, teenager and stuff like that. But usually when you start getting some sort of responsibility, could be from your parents, could be circumstances forcing you into it. Yeah, so for me that's what I think adulting is.
Aisha, how about you?
For me, I believe this is something that our parents set us up for, or whoever our guardian is. I believe that there's not, for every person it's different. I might experience my adulting quite differently from everyone else because of how I was groomed.
Exactly.
And environments really have a lot that they do. Environments and the nurturing, yeah. So I know a lot of people that, yes, for us we are kind of privileged that, you know, we our adulting phase was a bit extended. Like there was not a lot of parentification of who we are, but I also know a lot of kids that, especially orphans, that experienced adulting quite early. Not because that they accepted responsibility, no. It was just circumstances at that time.
Yeah.
That the circumstances, you know, give you a push to and shape you in such a way that you don't call for it, it finds you. So yeah, that's how I feel adulting is. For every person,
Yeah.
it's different.
You're talking about orphans. What about us firstborns? You start adulting very, very early. Like for my case, I feel like at some point I had to stay home, okay, like holidays, or probably when I have a break from school, I had to stay home and take care of my siblings and stuff like that. So you find that you're actually the only adult at home. And that is adulting because you have to take care of them in every way. Meals, prep, making sure they are playing right, making sure they're not fighting and all that stuff. So sometimes circumstances really push you to become an adult very, very early.
That's true. That's true. And you know what Aisha said, and what you're saying about, depending on your circumstances. Now, for me, on my side, adulting was different in a way because of how, our home was. We grew up in a really like sheltered space whereby we have like help at home, and so it's very easy for you to lazy your way around the home. Like really, really lazy your way around the home. You can spend the whole day without doing anything. But even with
Privilege.
no, guys, even with that, our mom was really intentional and she would always, tell us, like wake up and do something. At least clean the house. At least, wash the dishes. Like, yes, sometimes we were not very open and like doing what she would ask us to do because we knew there was help. But as I am now having my own home and looking back and seeing, how she would tell me these things, and then I would say at the back of my mind, yes, I was learning those things. Much as I wasn't doing them those days, I was learning them, and yes, I didn't have to adult until I left my parents' home.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Lucky
yes.
you.
But why I'm saying this is
Privilege.
because my mom, sorry siblings, but my mom right now, like at some point can be like, I wish your siblings could, like listen to what I'm telling you. I'm like, you know what, mommy, don't worry. You see, just like how you used to keep telling me, and it seemed like I wasn't really listening or learning anything. They're actually learning, so it's okay. Like this is how we have grown up. It's how we know life. But they'll get to that point when now it's them to have, run their own show, run their own things, and it's their own thing, and they'll be able to like own it up. So
I agree with
But it's also
Yeah.
possible to for things to turn the other way when, like, let's say a child is being disobedient or lazing around the home. It's possible that in their own home they can end up being
Exactly that.
irresponsible.
that's
It's very, very possible. So I think like we need to be a bit hard on them, because man, life out here is tough.
it is.
Like you have to clean your room, even in a public toilet. You have to make sure you leave it well for the next person, because if you like get sucked up into the laissez-faire kind of life, there's always help, there's always someone coming to clean. We even have cleaners at our offices or in these public places, but you still have to keep the washrooms
Clean up after
clean.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that we have to squeeze these nuts for some of these people.
Yeah. Otherwise, society does teach your kids if you fail.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
But you see, I want to take us a bit back and just say that adulting doesn't matter what number of, depending on the household, that firstborns or this and that. I feel like each household has its own way of doing things, because I've seen kids who are not firstborns take on the
Right?
adult shoes.
Yes, yes.
Because like I think it is more of a God-given trait.
Really?
Yes, there are kids that are born leaders, that no matter which number they are in the, how do they call that, like
Order of birth.
the order of birth, no matter whether you're last born or first born, if you see things that are not going the right way, you step up. Because I want to believe that is the circumstances, that is the circumstance that I lay on. Because honestly, I'm not the firstborn. I'm not the last born either. But I
Middle
feel like there
child.
was a time,
Me
I'm not
too.
even sure if I'm a middle child, because I come from a polygamous family. You get my point. So this is where I come from. I want to believe some things might not, you see, as a child, I feel like there were times when I stepped up,
Yeah.
and became an adult at a time when I shouldn't have been. Yeah? Not because I was the firstborn, but I felt like, at this point, because your mom would be like, right now, you're the one who is around. You're not the firstborn though.
That's the thing. Yeah.
But because you're maybe the elder child is like
In boarding.
they don't, no, they're
No,
like,
it's
yeah,
not like they're there, but
they don't care.
I think I get what Aisha
Yes.
is saying.
You
yes,
get,
yes.
of like, now your parents, I think parents also have this thing that they will see all these kids and
They
then
know them.
they get to know that maybe this one does better here. Yeah, so they're like, if maybe I'm aware this one will take over or something like that. So I feel like that is how it was for me.
Sometimes they don't actually have to give you the express powers of you're in charge.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's implied.
Yes, like you just
It
find
is
yourself
implied,
stepping up.
yeah.
There's no tissue here, you run, get tissue, put it there. There's no
Thank
this there, you run. Like you just end up being the leader and the adult in that circumstance, just because you've seen an opportunity and nobody's taking it up.
Not even an opportunity, I would say, but someone else who is supposed to be taking on that responsibility, like the adult who is supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing as an adult is not doing their part. So you find that even when you're a child, these are the things we've seen whereby maybe in homes whereby, let's say, maybe the parents are alcoholics, or even single parent homes, whereby maybe the mom has to work, God knows for how long, depending on the dynamics, but whereby you find yourself, because of the circumstances you're in, you have to step up, not because, there's an opportunity here, but like life forces you. And I think that's really what adulting is. Like life forces you to have to step up, because you know that if I don't do this, then
No one
it's
else
not going to
will.
get done.
Yeah.
So you know how we say that, adulting. So I want to say, does it mean that just because you're adulting that, you're responsible from the few adults you have seen?
Even
all-
yourself.
I am
Yeah.
responsible.
It is subjective,
Uh-huh.
in my opinion, because otherwise we wouldn't be having deadbeat fathers, because or deadbeat moms. It's possible that they are there.
They are there.
Yes. So adulting is not synonymous sometimes with responsibility. Or like if you're an
Actually
adult,
responsible.
it doesn't mean that you're automatically responsible. Some people choose not to be. They just choose to ball and live life the way they want and not taking responsibility for some of the things that they actually should.
I actually don't agree. And this is why. I believe adulting is responsibility. However, the prioritization of responsibility is what comes into play here. Because just like you said, deadbeat fathers, surprisingly, I feel like deadbeat dads are always responsible for themselves. You do realize that?
You can't just be responsible
And then the
for yourself,
others-
then forget
Hey!
That's the
everything
choice they've
else.
made.
That's the choice they've made. Like they have decided, for me, I don't care about the kids that I bring onto this earth. It's on their moms. For now, it's about me. You get it? And surprisingly, they overgroom themselves. Like they take care of their bodies. And that is why it is so easy for women to find these men attractive. Because, I mean, they're not taking care of their offspring.
They have
All
enough
have is
money for
themselves.
themselves.
Yes. So you find that deadbeat dads actually are responsible, but for themselves. Why do I say that adulting is responsibility? Let me tell you, nothing ever forces you into adulting like responsibility. Yeah? So, how do you prioritize the responsibility? Is how we say, okay, this one has adulted well or not. Yes.
Okay.
Because you see, even the deadbeat dads, meanwhile, do you know that there are dads that have multiple baby mamas? Yeah? For you, you're calling him a deadbeat dad. But the
there's
other
a-
baby mama
I know.
is there praising and saying, oh my
The best
God.
father in the
best
world.
dad ever, forever.
Yeah,
You get it? So it's a bit subjective
Yeah.
of like, you can't box it that way because every person has a different lens within which they see this person.
So is that why we hear things or comments like, you see someone who is presumed to be an adult, but they say that, you behave like a child.
Thank you.
So now you know why they say you behave like
Exactly.
a child. So
Thank
you
you.
have responsibilities that, society, your family expects of you, but when you don't hold yourself up to those responsibilities, then that's why people will say that you're still a child, because the expectation is that after being a child, you'll grow up, of course, move into being a young adult. They'll excuse you if you're a young adult, high school, university, you're still young, life cuts you some slack.
Yeah.
But if you are beyond university and you're still behaving like a child, then I think you need to think about yourself and
Yeah.
not just be looking posh and bougie and everything and forgetting all your other responsibilities. So that's really why I was asking, because of the whole concept of you're behaving like a child, which is something we really, hear a lot.
Quite often.
There's
yeah.
also this saying of certain, like, blaming your parents or your background ends at 30.
No.
After 30, you're responsible
It
for
can't be that wide.
No,
I
mean,
bet it
feel
should
like
be around
30,
20 something.
25.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a bit on the high end, guys.
Okay, let's say as long as you're done with university. That's why I said
Yes.
university.
Thank you.
So then you stop blaming.
Yeah, because after that it is on
Given you an
you.
education. Why are you still, blaming them? So that's why I was saying that, it still amazes me that even now, people who are older than me have the audacity to blame our parents, my aunties, my uncles, for the problems they have in their lives.
I know.
And you're thinking,
Which is really
you're
reckless.
an adult. Like, fine, maybe, guys, our parents are not perfect. Neither are we right now as perfect parents. So they'll definitely have done their best. Fine, if there's some things they did that were not the best, move on. Figure it out now.
Yeah.
Don't continue blaming them.
I guess that's where the problem is, the moving on part.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we accumulated traumas in our childhood, which kind of shapes who you become and how you respond to things.
Sure.
So the only thing is to take time to heal, take time to move on past those things, because otherwise,
I was
that's
just
the
about
thing.
to ask.
That's the thing.
how
That is the thing. Because now, if some people, it may take longer for them, or they don't take the initiative to do the work and to heal and to move on from those things. But it's true that probably they had traumas, they had experiences that shaped who they are. And for some reason, those things are hard to shake off, honestly. But I understand what you're saying, that at beyond a certain age, you can't blame your parents. But yes, we had traumas. If you don't take the responsibility to heal from them and move on from them, it's possible that you'll be that 50-year-old who is still blaming your parents.
I would like to be the one that bursts your bubble. Tell me, okay, yes, you accumulated trauma or whatever, which I am very selective when I want to think about trauma that is passed on by parents, because some people magnify the whole entire thing. So I won't go there. But this is where I stand. Ask yourself how empowered your parent was, for them to do the little that they did for you to turn out the way you did. You see, it is one thing to glorify your negatives and build on them and make them such a big deal that
There's a reason for all your failures.
Yes. But ask yourself, I want you to look at the patterns of your parents' life. How were they in the time that you're in? If you are 23 facing trauma and building on it to be a justification for how you are, ask yourself, how old was your mom when they had you?
Exactly.
And ask yourself, at 23, what were they doing with their lives? You find that our moms
I had a lot more
at
to deal
23,
with.
even with all the challenges they faced, they had so much going on for them. At 23. But here you are, you've been empowered with an education. Some of these parents actually go ahead and even make us get to their networks, in a bid to get us jobs and stuff. You have a parent who is going all out their way to make sure that you have a start of your life. Like, these are people that built from scratch. So they have built with sweat and blood to make you who you are, but here you are blaming traumas.
So Robina, what we're really saying is people need to move beyond themselves. Stop blaming other people for your failures.
Absolutely. Move
Finally
on.
become an adult. Anyway, hopefully they will learn and finally move on
They
from
should.
that. They should. What I want to also hear from us, that they can also know, is at what point, I know we're talking about adulting, people should adult and things like that, but at what point did you feel that adulting has knocked on the door, it's time to step up?
For me, as a firstborn, I had to adult very
How about
early.
we get a hanky?
For what?
I
am healed. I have moved on. I'm not in that
No
league
trauma.
anymore. Nothing.
Tell us.
So as a firstborn, I feel like I had to adult very, 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 very fast. Because I remember, like you, my mom always had help, and home was like, I had those small chores, of course, that I was responsible for. But there were periods where, you know how house helps be banag. They, like,
We know. Oh. It's soon gone.
of one just disappears out of the blue, and you can't find another as soon as possible. So in that period, obviously someone had to step up, and then who was there? Your Highness was there. So
Big
I
sister.
feel like I think it was when I was in P7 is when I really had to adult properly. Like I had to step up and be an adult in the home. Because I remember I was for vacation, you know, there's that period where others are at school,
P7.
and my mom is a teacher, so she had to go to teach, and I had to stay home with my siblings. I remember one of my brothers was really, really young, but still I had to take care of him and also take care of the home. Banang, it was tough. Of sometimes he's crying, you've given him milk, you've done everything you have to. He's not getting, he's not coming down, but also you have to prepare food. My mom has to come back home.
Really young.
Yes, I was P7, and my brother was young. We have a very big gap. So I had to really step up, carry him on my back, like find a way of managing things and making sure that the home is okay. Of course, I wasn't perfect because I was still young, but I had to step up.
No
I
one
had to cook.
expected you to be.
You know, I had to cook because my mom is from school. She has been teaching the whole day. She has probably been dealing with children. So I had to make sure that she comes home to, you know, at least
other
rest. Yes. Tunga have done something. So I would cook, then also tend to my brother, and also like deal with everything else in the home. So for me, that was that point where I felt like this adulting thing was scammed. You know how we used to think, I want to grow up, I want freedom from my mom not telling me where to go and where not to go, freedom from, you know, all the restrictions at home. But
My own space.
yes, of course I still had that fallacy. However, man, it hit me hard, especially that time where like I had to take care of things at home. The freedom is not very free after all.
You know what's so funny? For me, freedom was there. Yeah. For me, the whole idea of adulting was not about getting freedom. No, I just needed access.
Access to where? Yeah.
Access to clubs without getting an ID.
Aisha and her clubs.
Sincerely, for me, the freedom was there. It was the access. But to your question, when did I get to know that now adulting is
when did
here?
it hit hard?
I think, you see, when I got done with primary, I moved to my mom's side, like my maternal family. And somehow I kept on getting tossed from family to family. And then I found myself in my auntie's household, where I was now like the only, as the only girl. And they had a baby, like she was a newlywed, you know. Just like I said, sometimes maids would just run away, and then I would step up. But like real adulting, I think my mom was so deliberate about initiating me. There's this day, I remember the very first time I paid my school fees.
These things have gone to school fees.
For me to go to the bank by myself,
Line up.
I felt like, okay, this is adulting thing. this adulting thing is now here. She told me, like she was deliberate, she told me, but now you see, you have grown up, you have to learn to do these things on your own. Tell me why I had to go and you know these things of now you're done with S4, you have to look for the next school. She told me I have to do it on my own.
To look for the next school.
Yes. Nice. So she was like, really, she wanted.
Did she give you ideas though?
She just gives you like, you know, this is where you want to go, not so. These are the schools that you have on your list. So go and find out the tuition, the requirements, the everything on your own,
yes.
guys.
Nice.
Yeah, but you see, the difference was you see when you're overshielded, at first, yes, there's freedom, but you're overshielded. They don't allow you to go to these big people places and do things on your own.
Yeah.
So here you are, like you have no clue. You don't have an idea how to go about and navigate stuff. Madam said, you wanted to be an adult, not so.
Here it is.
Here it is. And you guys, I remember walking into the headmaster's office, introducing myself like an adult. And guess what? I think that guy, after some time, called my mom and said, I think what you're doing is the right way. Because the first day of reporting, I went with my mom. And she was there getting gold compliments and stuff. as she was like,
after making you
we
wing
did
it.
well. And then getting my first email. Yeah, then okay, now we are adults, yeah? We have to get so we make a list. We have to get you a bank account. We have to get you an email.
You made an email, like a list with her?
Yes.
Nice.
Wow, she was deliberate.
I know, right?
Yes, we did. So we had a list of the email. Then we also wanted to do driving lessons, but we were too broke. So we couldn't afford that. We let it pass. And so many other things, like because I also have a feeling because I was her first girl. Yeah. So she I'm sorry, but I feel like my mom, and also I look like her a lot. I feel like all the things that she couldn't do at that age, she wanted me to really absorb everything and do at that time. So
She was living.
Hey, Bambi, she tried.
Nice. I mean, that she was really
Intentional.
Yeah, she was.
Like her list of, and I think
And it
it's
helped.
good.
It
Yeah.
does. It does.
It does. These are things where they keep saying, how can you be as an adult when you have no driving permit, no passport?
Naye mutuleke.
But it's the truth.
There are some things you first leave us. Me, I got my passport.
You'll get to a point where you have to travel, then you start running
By
around,
the way,
paying extra.
you guys, that one we can't even negotiate.
Which one?
You do not talk about adulting when you don't have these particulars. You don't have a national ID. How? You don't have a driving license when you're driving. I mean, you're
What if you're not driving?
Okay, if you're not driving, it's another thing. But okay, if you're driving, make sure you have a. I
course.
know a lot of people who drive, but they don't have driving
Anyway,
license.
they are there.
Yes.
No people.
And you must have a passport.
Be ready to travel.
Opportunity will find you.
When you are ready.
Yeah.
And ready. You know, like if you're not ready. Okay, what I mean is, if you're not ready, and you get an opportunity, it will pass you by. So have these things like at any time. Okay, tell me why an adult, you have to be reminded to get a national ID. Do you know how all these things are interrelated? That is like the primary document of your life.
I know,
in
but
our day and age now.
Yes.
you know, I lost my national ID once.
Okay, there's
And
no,
it was-
that means you once had it.
Yes.
You
But
get
there was when they brought it on board, like everyone.
No,
And there's some people who didn't go for them.
See?
A lot of people
Okay,
actually
now-
have conspiracy theories over national IDs.
Even national IDs,
Yes,
really, people.
They a lot of people. Yes, it was. A lot of people thought. One, they thought that we are getting national IDs because of voting only. And a lot of people believe that there's going to be election rigging based on national IDs.
So you need to answer that.
So those that are in opposition actually refuse to get IDs at that time.
That's
Some
ridiculous.
Of them.
because
At
they
least
need to-
learn-
they need to increase the number of possible votes.
Yeah.
At least learn from our neighbors. Kenya, those guys have always, even South Sudan has always had what? National IDs in
You see
place.
now, how many people know someone from Kenya or South
You don't have to
Sudan?
know someone.
The thing is exposure.
Thank you.
Hey.
But
And literacy.
Exposure.
but
and
for the things of driving permit, passport, leave us, you people.
Are your passport or no banner you by the way?
passport. Yeah,
Leave
at least
us.
anyway. Okay, at least fine. Start with the national
And national
You can go
ID is
to
a
Kenya,
basic, yes.
Rwanda, Tanzania.
But
And it's freely given.
leave people without passports out of this conversation. You know why I'm
guys-
saying that?
be ready.
Because sometimes you really see. Okay, I know it's kind of not not being forward looking, but sometimes you really see. I'm not even going to travel. I'll get it when I
It's
can
like
get
you
it.
don't trust your God.
Auntie, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like you're not.
saying doing your code,
Hey.
but you have no passport.
But you know how
working.
For me, I have, and I got it early. But you be kind to these people who don't have. Okay, the ones of driving permits, those ones are reckless. How can you be driving on the road without a permit? Honestly. And by the way, the process for getting a driving permit is seamless.
Yeah, true.
That is one thing. Kudos, get your flowers. That division of our government. I recently got mine, and it was very
Like 15
seamless.
minutes.
Even when you need help, they'll give you the help that you need. However, other offices, those passports you're talking about and those national IDs you're talking about, you guys, the process of getting another one, give grace to these people who don't have.
It's just a misconception, guys.
Is it though?
It is. Let me tell you, Ugandans, we like to hear stories of other people and believe them for the Bible truth that they are, but it's always lies. I also lost my national ID recently, guys. And let me tell you, all you have to do is walk in. If you have all the requirements that they've asked for, you don't even have to pay a coin to anyone. It's just that these institutions have for so long been, undergoing a structuring of sorts, and honestly, there's been tremendous progress.
How long did it take you to get it?
It actually took me only 3 months, and also those 3 months, because I believed that it would take so long.
Really?
Imagine me going there and I realized that my ID had been there for 2 months. It should have taken 1 month, but because I had this belief that it takes so long and stuff, then one day I actually needed now to have it. This recent time when Airtel just switched off all our cards, I needed my ID. That's when I go back and they're like, hey, this ID has been here for like 2 months. Where have you been? Just me thinking, okay, the government is not, the government agencies are not working. Kumbe they actually work.
So you need to let us, it goes back to this whole thing of sensitization and all the complaints that we've had about other divisions.
We transfer it to every other department.
Yes. So because they've historically had so many inefficiencies, we believe that those are the inefficiencies that are there, and unfortunately so many Ugandans are still getting duped because of having to go. Because in the past that's how you would get things done very fast, but now you don't really have to do that, but people don't know.
True.
But you see, even we get shocked when things go right, especially
I know.
for me, when I was able to get my permit that same day, I went with everything.
Believe.
I couldn't believe. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
In this Uganda?
It is ready and I can go with it home. So you see how...
And I don't have to pay anything extra.
And I didn't have to pay anything extra.
I don't need to know anyone.
Exactly.
You don't.
And so to bring us back to adulting. So, adulting, all these other things that we have to do, like the hassle of having to get these things also makes you realize that, you've adulted. I think that's why you only
Which
have
was
to
your
get it
experience though?
Yes, it's
right? We kept yapping and digressing and we forgot.
My experience. No, I haven't forgotten. I'm going to share. So my experience was at the university. Yes.
Hey mama, a special mama to you.
Like I said, you guys, my mom is really like super loving and everything, and I think would want to make life as easy as possible for her kids, and she did that. But I'm glad that at the university she allowed me and gave me the opportunity to go and stay at the hostel. And I would say living outside of home and having to fend for myself is really what helped me. And I think you've had me share these stories of how I started my business venturing at the university and things like that, because of having to, not that she wouldn't give me money if I asked, but because I wanted to be independent and show that I can do it on my own. That's how I started my adulting. But I would say even that was soft life adulting,
right?
I know,
right?
Legit adulting. Motherhood, running a family and things like that. For me, that
you came very early, very late. I mean,
that is your adult.
Yes.
That is
privilege
privilege 101 because
Sharon, for real though.
No, for real though, you guys. That's when I had to. I mean, even when I was done with university before I got married.
You first went back
Yeah.
home.
Yes, I first went
Oh,
back
God.
home, and I would, yes, once in a while chip in, like, oh, let's buy this at home, but I wasn't required to do that. So I would make my money, spend my money.
Life
yeah,
was good.
balling.
Oh my God.
Life was good. No black tax whatsoever.
Of course, black tax was there, but because I had enough, I'd be like, oh, I can pay my nephew's fees, I can do this. But now
At will.
at
Anyway.
will, yes, at
Is that
will.
black tax though?
It's
It
not.
is still black tax because I
It's
could have
black
invested
token.
that. a tax. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Black
It
token.
was, yeah, there were tokens. But yeah, for me, that's my experience. And right now, because I have to manage my home and I know it's my responsibility.
Rightly so.
Exactly. So I adult because I know I have to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and run to my mom and be like, oh,
Come and take care of my home, mama.
No.
exactly.
You know,
No.
I am sure she would
she would still come in.
willingly offer any help she can.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But she's,
Wow.
I mean, she's just
She's amazing.
Sweet like that.
Yeah.
You guys, let me tell you. When
I have a
Sharon
friend who
was
says she gives the best hugs. So that's the kind of person.
She's just
she
sweet
is.
like
She's so
that.
sweet.
Yeah.
My mom would leave us to be like to hang dry sometimes just for you to learn a lesson.
typical African man.
I know. Like sometimes you wonder what goes through their minds. Like
Oh God.
they keep telling you, don't climb that tree, don't climb that tree, don't do this, don't do this. You keep going to do it. Then she just lets you be. You make your mistakes, learn from them, and never do it again. So my mom was mothering the hard way.
styles, the different parent styles. You know, when you were talking about leaving home and how soft it was for you. God, how different.
Right?
You guys, you see, shortly after campus, I had this job, like it was in Kampala. I'm getting good money. I'm also traveling to the field here and there. You're Shepherd and all. Nice stuff, yeah? Then I get this job that required me to go up country. You guys, that was adulting pro max.
I can imagine.
For someone that never went to hostel, like
Oh.
for me,
Oh.
home anytime, every time I was always at home. I never went to boarding school.
Oh.
Yes, I was always at home.
Oh.
So for me, this
Interesting.
time of my life was the very, very first time for me to be away from home. So we rent in Hoima. I had this Kawan room. Okay, it was a Kawan room
A studio.
with a studio. I can't say studio
That's literally,
apartment.
that's literally hostel
That's-
style.
Yeah.
I can't say studio apartment because that would be like exotic a bit. Yeah? I want to say
Like
a Kawan
studio
room.
apartment, kitchen corner.
I just had a
bathroom.
Kawan room with a bathroom. It was no studio apartment, guys. Just so we are clear here. Nothing bougie. Okay?
Something bougie.
Nothing bougie. It was just up country, one room. I was even fearing
What
to
are you
stay alone.
fearing?
Like you've never been away from home.
I mean,
like
that was.
Yeah, you guys have special privileges.
you guys
And she was
I
saying,
sat down.
what to mine.
on my bed. I was like, okay, now this is where life starts.
Adulting.
Yo, it was so hard. Like I called home that night.
See,
I cried,
see, mommy's girl as well.
but the harder way.
I know.
I cried. I told my mom I can't manage this. But then I remembered that she told me, Madam, okuze. This is the time that you know what? You show me that you don't okuze. But I feel like that was a very important part of my life. Because if I had kept on latching onto my mom, maybe I wouldn't have, gotten as independent as I got. Yeah. Because for so long we were like shielded, whatever you need, you get. Whatever you ask for, it's there. You just back on call. Like thank God for my mom, because I had to like real man up this time.
You have grown up.
Yes. So yeah, that was another
You know,
adulting experience for me.
You've reminded me of another one before the family one, similar to work. I think that's also what really shaped my adulting. The job I had after university, which required traveling a lot, like to places I'd never been to in Uganda, and you would spend like 2 weeks, almost even 3 weeks away from home, and you're in this place. The only person you know is the teammate you've gone with. Sometimes it's just 2 of you, sometimes it's just 3 of you, and you know, just having to fend for yourself and figure things out. It has a way, it makes you like really grow and mature.
Yeah, you guys adulted very late, you people. But life, anyway, that's how life is.
Yeah.
Some of us got to adult very early. Others got to. Me, I even used to take myself to school.
Ha.
Of you're in S2,
Of
S1.
course,
But you were in day school.
I think it makes it even worse. You
Yeah.
have to work every day. Now, what are you
Yeah.
saying? I was in
I mean,
high
I was
school.
in
Eh?
boarding school
In
at that
HSC.
time.
Remember, I had a city school. Imagine.
Yeah, you guys are not just adults. You
I
guys
know.
are
When it's raining.
What are you saying? You have to leave from Nasana, whether it rains or not, to the city. Kampala in the city, like those who know old Kampala back then, you know, like you have to get on a taxi every morning.
these are sharp
We had
guys.
we had kids
not
who
just
were like
adults.
they shepherd you every day. We had kids who were dropped off every day. Drop off and pick up. What are you saying? And imagine now there are days when you know like you don't have school fees. They want mazayo sent.
And then they send you back.
They send
You don't
back.
have transport.
You don't. You have already eaten the transport. Remember, some of those kids, like being a kid is so
Oh
being,
my
being so
God.
hopeless. You know, you have transport from Kampala to Nasana, but you also have friends who stay in Nakurabi. Yeah.
So they leave you somewhere there.
They'll give you a lift home.
For them, they don't get transport. They have to walk from school.
To
So,
Nakurabi.
So you
for
always
you,
had
because you have-
company.
You have 1K, which should take you from Kampala to Nasana. So you eat 500 because you're going to trek
Up to
Yeah.
up to
Nakurabi.
Nakurabi. Then the rest of the money.
Because you have company.
And then when they send you back earlier, you're alone.
You are alone. God. Tell me if that is not adulting.
That is
Ate
adulting
forceful
101.
adulting. Ate go aviated.
I mean, you've brought it on yourself.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Adulting. Okay, so to wrap us up, would you say that, I mean, I know it's us ladies talking, but would you say from what you have observed that, you know, most times as ladies we're forced to adult earlier or much more often than the boys, not just even as adults, but even as we're growing up, because you have to fend for your brother and things like that.
In my family, though, my mom has no gender roles.
Oh, nice.
Everyone does everything. So all my brothers, you see there, they know how to do everything. They can attend, they can deal with themselves and even the people around them.
Guys, Robin and
Like you-
brothers.
They're young. Leave them alone. They're still in
Young
school.
brothers.
At home, my mom has no gender roles. Everyone has to know everything. All my brothers know how to cook. And as early as possible. You know, I also come from a polygamous family. So you need these skills for survival. So everyone does everything. So in my circle, in my experience, no, I don't think that it was like me growing up faster than my brothers. No, all of us, like, we had to step up. At a certain point, we all, like, she groomed us to be able to be independent. Yeah.
Okay.
I also don't believe that it's a gender thing. No. I believe even in household, no matter the order form, yeah, whether you're a girl or a boy, if responsibility falls on you, you have to take it up, yeah. But also, I believe boys have it harder.
You think so?
Yes. Do you know, remember,
Mm-hmm.
the way African traditional society, takes things, boys are nurtured to be providers. So how are you going to be convinced that this boy that you're babying is going to take that responsibility of provision and
Seriously.
like how are they going to take it seriously if you don't harden up on them when they are still young? So I believe it's really something that has nothing to do with gender, and I want to believe boys have it harder, because I have had conversations with men who think that a lot of times when they were growing up, their sisters were treated quite differently. Like,
Really?
yeah, that their sisters had it quite easier. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And I asked my late brother, about that. Okay, for him, he had a silver spoon. He didn't have a real life experience. Rest in peace, Gada. But from his other, friends and stuff,
Girls have it easy.
yeah.
That means it really depends, I guess, on the
Family, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are some families where you find girls actually have it tougher, such that, like she said, there's some families where there are gender roles.
Yeah.
So you find the girls working, and
Well, the boys are
just
waiting
you
for food
serious?
and ordering
Yeah.
you around, by the way.
No way.
yeah. So I think we need to
Household dynamics.
yeah. But I think the better thing would be to have a wholesome person, someone
Yeah.
who can fend for themselves regardless of,
Whether
yeah. Okay, this has been nice. I've had fun, chatting about adulting and, hearing about your experiences, and we hope that you've also enjoyed the conversation. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well, so that you don't miss our new videos. Share with your friends, your families, your in-laws, outlaws, everyone, really. Yeah, those groups where you don't really post anything,
Hey, this is
post
the
our
time.
link, like use this as a chance, and they'll be like, what's this one posting? Timeless conversations.
Right.
Otherwise, thank you to HD Media who shot and produced this episode. Until next time,
Bye.
Peace.